Nubreed, Global Truth.
The United States is headed for civil war. What that looks like, I have no idea. I'm quite sure it won't look exactly like the last civil war, and that said, I feel it in my bones. I don't say this to scare you. Some people are going to say, oh, you're trying to be divisive. I don't need to try to be divisive. This country is divided. It's divided between the haves and the have-nots. It is divided between the cult members and the non-cult members. I do not believe most of the cult members can be saved. Let me say it again, and I want you to listen. I do not believe most of the cult members can be saved. That said, we are going to have to fight them with everything we have. That includes nonviolent, and it might include the other. And do I like that? No, I don't like that. Nobody wants that. I'm quite sure on the precipice of the Civil War, nobody wanted that. This cult of MAGA has infiltrated every fucking institution in America, and I don't know about you, I'm not looking for a fight, but there are days where I'm like, can we just go out in the street and get it on? Let's do it. Because I am done. We're not going back to segregation. We're not going back to this alien enemies bullshit. We're not even following the law there. You're supposed to be over the age of 14 and you can't be a natural born citizen. We have deported children now who were born in the United States. So you either value the Constitution and the rule of law or you don't. You either hold certain values about the society you want in common or you don't. And I just don't think these MAGA motherfuckers can be pulled back into reason. I don't think they're capable of it. I don't think they're emotionally intelligent, and that's societal. It's by design. And I just don't think that this ends anywhere good. I don't. I hope that eventually, if we have to go that route, that we can build back something much better, much more equitable, much fairer, because there's got to be something for the horror, the terror that comes with that. Don't sit on this, though. Don't sleep on this. Know yourself, protect your home, have your plans, be ready, because this ends nowhere good.
Stay ready so you ain't never got to get ready. What's going on, everybody? Mic check, mic check. Let's make sure I'm coming in clearly by show of ones in the chat. I see brothers and sisters rolling in. What's going on, Kim C? Tanya's in the building. Shawnee's in the building. Gladiator. Camden Walker. Jeanette Munford. Guap. Blessed and Humble. Gordon's in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems like America is primed and ready for some sort of revolution. It seems that America's reaching a breaking point. And a lot of people want to remain docile. They don't want to face the silent war. Now, you know the irony of this? I got this book here, Beheld the Pale Horse, William Cooper. And I want to share something in this book. We got some sources. We got some scriptures. Y'all know how we give it up over here. But what I'm in hopes to do this evening is give you context to why the things are happening the way they are happening within the country, as well as give you some insight on solution. And is this the end of Babylon as we know it right now? Or is there hope? What is to come in America in the near and distant future is what we're talking about. Now, first of all, I got to give you all a brief synopsis about William Cooper. William Cooper was a man that was held in high regard when it comes to naval intelligence. He had all the military clearances you can think about and you can imagine. Things that were considered highly classified. William Cooper at one point was in charge of keeping that information. He became a martyr. He died bringing truth. When he was first initiated to the Secret Service and all this classified information, he had joined the Navy where he witnessed a UFO come out of the water. Him, along with his cabin members. He was brought into a room and they told him, rather they asked him, what did you see? He said, it looks like I seen a UFO. They said, you seen nothing. Then they cussed him out. And he said, look. Then they asked him again, what did you see? He said, look, I seen absolutely nothing out there. And he kept those secrets. And you know, the irony of that is the UFOs that just came to America not too long ago came out of the water. So even back then, they knew that these marine kingdom spirits, or whatever you want to call these things, were coming up out of the water, right? Make no mistake about that. That's where the UFOs come from. They're not coming from outer space because, quote unquote, outer space has a firmament. The Most High made the earth have a firmament. So nothing is coming from outer space. They're coming from out of the water, right? Now, when he got initiated and he got all this classified information, he did something that was very courageous. He started putting the truth on blast. He became a whistleblower. William Cooper was ran off the road, lost his leg. He gives accounts about how he was being followed and how he was being pursued by government agents. And William Cooper ended up getting killed in the line of duty in order to get out truth. William Cooper didn't care. The truth is all that mattered because he believed in the Constitution as well as he believed in the Most High, right? And he believed in any means necessary, similar to Malcolm X, because no change actually comes unless you're willing to put yourself on the line. There has to be people out here who are willing to fight for the future generation. A lot of people are not willing to do that. Now, he exposed some documentation, and a lot of what you see in today, I want to just read one page to you all, not even a whole page. I just want to read what he exposed. And look, what I want y'all to see is, first of all, what I'm giving you over here on Nubreed Global Truth is top secret information. And what makes it top secret is that a lot of people are not digging into these books and they're not researching this. And also, when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, these are actual official documentation. He put it in this book. Actual documents. Government, listen, the documents, look, These are actual documents. So this is not conspiracy. Y'all see the government seals, right? Y'all see the connection between the US Army intelligence connection with the Satanic Church. You see, let's see. He actually put this stuff out there. We're talking about actual classified information is in this book. Now, what's going on with the American citizens, right? Now, I want to talk about silent battles for quiet wars just for a moment, because this may break the complacency spirit that a lot of people have, right? Top secret. Now, when he got pretty much initiated into the Illuminati, because that's what happened, because they found him very reliable when it came to keeping secrets. So he got initiated into the Illuminati, and this is the first thing that he learned. This is pretty much the letter he got, the publication he had to read. Top secret. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, an introductory program manual, operation, research, technical manual. So here's a manual that he was given. Has the patent number, the code numbers, and everything. I just want you to hear this. It tells you the publication information. Welcome aboard. It says it is patently impossible to discuss social engineering or the automation of a society, i.e., the engineering of social automation systems, silent weapons on a national or worldwide scale, without implying extensive objectives or social control and destruction of human life, i.e., slavery and genocide. This manual is in itself an analog declaration of intent. Such a writing must be secured from public scrutiny. Otherwise, it may be recognized as a technically formal declaration of domestic war. So long as it's not brung out to the public, technically, it is not, a cry for domestic war, although that's what it is. Furthermore, whenever any person or group of persons in a position of great power and with full knowledge and consent of the public use knowledge and methodology for economic conquest, it must be understood that a state of domestic warfare exists between said person or groups of persons and the public. The solution of today's problem requires an approach which is ruthlessly candid, with no agonizing over religious, moral, or cultural values. You have qualified for this project because of your ability to look at human society with cold objectivity, and yet analyze and discuss your observations and conclusions with others of similar intellectual capabilities without a loss of discretion or humility. Such virtues are exercised in your own best interest. Do not deviate from them. So this article goes on to explain how through the people's ignorance, it becomes consent that they don't know this information. Through their ignorance, it becomes consent. And so that's what a lot of people fail to realize. There is a silent war going on. There is a matrix that we're under. There is certain social norms that aren't actually normal. They've been implemented. Now, the people are getting fed up, brothers and sisters. The people are getting tired.
This is far greater, far scarier than I had ever anticipated. I don't know how anybody cannot be terrified in this moment, and anybody who is still
on the MAGA team, I just don't know what you know, I guess, because all I see is destruction ahead. All I see is destruction ahead. All I see is destruction ahead. The end of equality, the end of free speech, the end of financial independence. It feels like we're heading to be more like Cuba than to be the world leader. When you drop all of the friendships that you've ever had, you don't become a leader, you become a bully. And when you become a bully, you become isolated. And when you become isolated, you lose all of your power.
And that is what's currently happening. Babylon is losing all of her power. Second Esdras 15:43. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. They shall come to her and besiege her. The star in all wrath shall they pour upon her. They shall the dust and smoke go up unto the heavens, and all that they be about shall bewail her. That is what's going to happen to Babylon. It has already been prophesied. Now, it's interesting that people don't want to liberate themselves because they've killed the idea of liberty with the quote unquote liberals who aren't liberals at all. All they are is Marxists. All they are is sadists. And this is how the Republican Party was able to invert being woke. Being woke simply means you're conscious. See, anybody with any real understanding understands that it's just two wings of the same bird. Democrats, Republicans, they work together cohesively in a Hegelian dialect to work against the people. The so-called liberals push a radical idea. The Republicans give a little space for it. They push back a little, but everybody in the middle are the ones getting played. Now, in this book here, this book goes on to tell you exactly how they use military tactics to wage war psychologically, how they would use technology to wage war psychologically. And it gives you all the mathematics, all the codes. It tells you all about the FEMA projects. Because guess what? They're able to do this because people are destroyed for lack of knowledge and they're silent about it. And that complacency is agreement. And they believe that people who don't have the mind to think, who they consider useless eaters, they feel like you should be in control of them because they're more responsible. They're more intelligent. You don't deserve your freedom because you won't expand your mind. You won't even accept the truth. It's people out there who can feel something is going on because society is a matrix. But it's too scary for them to wake up. That's right. Somebody said, we're not liberals, we're proactively aware. That's right. That is right.
Y'all, I'm literally fucking crashing out right now, and I don't know why the fuck it took me so long to crash out about something like this, or why nobody else is fucking crashing out about this. I am so sick and tired of working. For what? Working for what? So the government can tax our paycheck, right? So we get taxes taken out of our paycheck. Then we go and buy something, buy groceries, get taxed to buy groceries. Go buy a car, guess what? You're getting taxed to buy your car. Go buy a house, guess what? They're going to tax you to buy your fucking house. I made so much money last year that I got put into a different tax bracket. So now, instead of getting money back, I owe money. I owe $6 grand to the feds right now. How are they going to get that $6 grand? Because I'm going exempt this year on my taxes, so I can take money out of my paycheck to pay them their $6 grand back. But guess what? Since I'm in a new tax bracket next year, and I'm not getting any taxes taken out of my check, any taxes, they still fucking take taxes, they just don't take it all, I guess? I don't fucking know, but next year I'm gonna owe even more taxes to the feds, because they're not taking as much out this year from my checks. I am so sick and tired of just fucking surviving. Literally, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I make double minimum wage, and I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. Like, how are other single-income households surviving right now? I cannot be the only one fucking struggling. I cannot be the only one sick and tired of working with nothing to show for it. Like, once I pay my bills, my fucking money's gone. It's fucking gone. Why is nobody else upset about this? There's literally billions of people, and nobody else is talking about this shit. Like, something's gotta give. We have to do fucking something. This is not right. I want to live. I want to make memories. I want to go traveling. I want to go on trips. I want to do fun stuff. Not only I deserve a better life, but my kid deserves a better life. You deserve a better life. Your kids deserve a better life. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? How is everybody okay with, like, literally 95% of the population being fucking poor? I make almost $30 an hour, and I'm still fucking poor. Can somebody make it make sense?
Y'all heard what Pepper Ann said. You know how I know that the children of Israel got next? Because we've been living this life. We've been about this. We've been about survival. We've been about making nothing into something. Even though she definitely spoke nothing but the facts. But make no mistake about it, when the wicked bear rule, everybody mourns. Everybody mourns. And look, I'm going to tell y'all right now, people are fed up with this financial prison that we call America. And I'm going to tell y'all this right now. It's starting to rile people up. People are starting to lash out. People are starting to act different. Brothers and sisters, I don't know if y'all have been witnessing the spirits on people, the disposition that people have these days. Have you been noticing the countenance that's on people? The misery that seems to be on a lot of people in America. This sense that people just don't care no more. It's like exhaustion. People don't speak to each other no more. Everybody's giving mean mugs and cold stares. Everybody is frustrated. So much so, people don't even speak. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's not how things are supposed to be. They are stripping the life force out of the people. And money is not mattering. This is how we know that we're near the end, because Proverbs 11:4 says, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness deliver from death. That means it's going to come a time where money don't even matter. It's going to be about your righteousness that's going to get you from point A to point B. As long as you're being righteous, the Most High going to provide the rest. Everybody is experiencing uncertainty. Everybody got to, do what they got to do to get by. But what's going to really get you to the finish line is your relationship with the Creator. And that's what a lot of people in society are failing to understand. It's getting dangerous out there. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting dangerous out there in these streets nowadays. Hold on. I got a source I also want to share with y'all. Y'all give me a moment. Let me pull this up. This is it right here. I'm going to just show you the behavior of people these days.
Bro, it's Sunday. I just got out of a really great service. This stuff got me shaking. Not because, like, I'm scared, but it's because, like, people really out here like this. Really just turned into Popeyes, and I have the right of way. My windows was down, and literally this dude literally just said, "Bitch, you better watch out where you going. I'll shoot that hoe up." Like, what? Bro, why are people like that? What possessed you in your mind? All I could say was, yeah, God bless you, bro. Cause on my mama, like, you really not the only one with a gun, bro. Like, I'm gonna shoot back. Stupid, like, God. Oh, God, I'm working on it, God. You gotta keep me covered. Like, seriously, this is insane. People are losing their mind. I'm pregnant, and you talking about you gonna shoot a car up? Bro, this is ridiculous. Like, people really out here just, and it's a black man.
It's real out here. She's praying for a covering. She's praying that the Lord covers her. Her covering should be a husband. She says she's pregnant. Perhaps she has a husband. We don't know. But one thing for sure and two things for certain. There's a lot of demons hacking people in this day and age. The gates of hell are wide open. And there's so many weak vessels that are being used right now. And everybody seems to be on a damn crash out mission. Nobody honors anyone. You can't even walk across the street in a crosswalk without damn near getting ran over. It's like everyone's on the verge of becoming psychopathic. And then you got people out here right now that are literally waiting for a civil war. They're waiting for it. And this is the reason why you got to cleave to the Creator. This is the reason why you got to get your affairs in order and get your relationships in order. The scriptures tell us, and we're going to go there because we read scriptures over here. In the book of Baruch, chapter 6, verse 2, for when ye be come into Babylon, you shall remain there many years and for a long season, namely 7 generations. And after that, I will bring you away peaceably from thence. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming up on that. We're coming up to the point where we're going to leave our captivity with great substance. But we got to follow the Holy Spirit to get to that point. Because Babylon got it coming to her. Baruch 4:35 says, for fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. This devil's walking the streets. Not only is this the land of every unclean spirit, every foul bird, but this is the habitation of devils in America. Yep. Let's see. Somebody says people know what time that we're in, but they want to call it fear mongering. That's because they're afraid. When you got the Creator with you, you're not afraid. You can be aware. You can be knowledgeable. You can be wise. And you can be proactive. There's people out there who choose to remain ignorant to what's going on. The scripture says, because you deny the truth, does that make the truth void? Just because it's difficult for some people to digest information because they got spiritual deficiencies and weaknesses does not mean that the truth is not going to come to pass. Denial is what's got us in a situation where we gave these people the consent to rule over us. We gave them the consent to misappropriate wealth, create classism, morally degrade us, teach our children at birth to remain subservient to government. We allowed that. We allowed that. Why? Because complacency. Why? Because people don't want to hear it. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is definitely power. I mean, it's going down out here, man. It is going down.
Okay, so did you know that if you take a frog and put it in a pot of water?
Yeah, we're not going to do that one. We ain't going to get hit with copyright. It's actually not the one I wanted to hit. I wanted to talk about the Civil War and how people really feel about it coming.
Hey, what's up, guys? I don't know about you all, but I'm ready for a civil war. I am ready for it to happen right now. We need a civil war right now. I mean, it's inevitable. We're practically already in one. You know, it's just that, you know, the right, we don't retaliate, you know. I'm just sick of it. I'm tired of making videos, making fun of them and calling them out, exposing them, you know, for the fuckery that they do. I'm sick of it. Clearly, there'll never be peace in this country ever again. There'll never be unity or agreement between the right and the left. So I say, let's do it. Let's do it. Get it out the way. Let's go ahead and do it. Be done with it. And may the best men win. You know, I've already been in 2 wars already. So I got one more war left in me. And, you know, if I get taken out, if I happen to lose my life, it'll be the perfect ending for me. You know, going out, fighting for my country and fighting for what's right. Because that's what it really boils down to. Right and wrong. Now, we all bicker and shit on which side is right and which side is wrong. But we all know So I say, let's just get it over with. You know, they say violence is never the answer, but sometimes I think it is. You know, you got the Tesla terrorists going around. You got the assassination attempts on Trump. MAGA's always getting attacked in restaurants, getting barred from restaurants, getting barred from businesses. You got the whole black turning against white people shit over fucking Carmelo Anthony. It's just so much bullshit. I say we just get it over with. Either a civil war or a purge. Like the movie The Purge, I think we need that in this country, like in real life. Because I am frustrated. I'm frustrated and I'm just done with it. I'm done with making videos, you know, making fun of them and shit. I'm ready for some action. And like I said, may the best side win. Just get it over with, get it on out the way. Anyway, give me y'all thoughts. Talk to y'all later.
Do you know how many people actually feel this way in America? You would think because America's great in resource, you would think because America has so much going for itself, far as it having all the natural resources that you need. You would think that that Americans would be happy, but no. And it's people like that that don't know who to go against. And this is what's crazy. Yep, somebody said it. Bloodthirsty and trigger happy. You got people like that have misappropriated energy. If you can see all the people that have consorted against us and kept us in captivity, you can fit all these people in one room. You can keep them all in one room. So who the hell are you going to go out and fight? That's the question. That's why it's a silent war. You don't know who to fight. But see, you have people like that guy. Soon as the grid go down, he going to wild out. He going to think that he's back in damn Vietnam. You're going to have, you're going to have people like that. And this is why you got to protect yourself, because you don't know what is on people's mind on an everyday basis. People that you going to work with, people that, you may see in the grocery store on a daily, people that you may see at the local bar or, whatever. People with that displaced anger, you don't even know what's on their mind. I'm going to tell y'all what's going on right now in the country. Economic shock testing. This was talked about in this book. When y'all see the stock market going up and down, look, it's right here. Economic shock testing. That's what's happening right now. They're finding out ways to manipulate the stock market so they can predict spending habits. Now, why are they doing that? Because they're putting a new grid in place where they can gauge all the spending habits, and they have more control because the digital currency is coming. So when you see Trump get up there and he says anything on the news and it affects the stock market, this is what they're setting it up for. It's economic shock testing. They've been doing this for a while. The devil don't have no new tricks. The devil don't have no new tricks. The American citizens are tired, man. They're giving up. A lot of people are giving up. And they ready to go out and crash out.
America's chickens have come home to roost. America have done dirt to so many countries and nations that as a collective, they collectively got together and said, let's get them. This is our time. It's the fall of a nation. Y'all think about it. Every empire can fall, and it's our time.
Every empire can fall, and it is our time. I know there's a lot of people out here that keep talking about they praying for America. The Bible says if he was going to save America, he would have did it already. That's scripture. Jude 16 and 17 says, woe to the nations that rise up against my kindred. The Lord Almighty will take vengeance of them in the day of judgment, in putting fire and worms in their flesh, and they shall fill them and weep forever. So what are we talking about? Did Babylon not rise up against his people? Are we not God's people? What are people praying for? The Most High's finna judge this place, and we're going to leave our captivity in great substance. America is going to get torched. Why? Because they refuse to look out for God's people. They won't do it. They refuse to pay us what we are owed. They refuse to repent and turn from their wicked ways. They have become greedier and greedier. And that's why the scriptures tell us in Ezekiel 7 and 19, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of wrath of the Lord. They silver and gold ain't finna be able to deliver them. They're going to cast it in the streets. All their idols, all their money, all their resources, none of it is going to save them for what's coming. Let's see. Shannon says, I had what seemed to be a prophetic dream. I saw a man throwing all his silver coins on the ground as if he was suggesting money was worthless. I'm telling you it's going to come to that time. It definitely is. Let me share this screen with y'all. This one's a few minutes, and I want to react to this play by play, blow by blow, right? Because it's getting real in this country, and people don't want to believe it until it's too late. Let's see. John says Jeff Bezos selling $5 million in Amazon. Wow.
Man, honestly, fuck the American dream. The American dream ain't never did nothing for nobody but put them in some goddamn debt. You buy a house, you in debt. You buy a car, you in debt. You start a business, you in debt. You try to go to school, you in debt. You telling me there ain't shit we can do in this life to where a motherfucker ain't got to be in debt?
Well, that's what America was set up to do. The American dream is dead. Andre, thank you for the support, as well as Shannon. I appreciate y'all. That's what this system was set up to do, put you in debt. I mean, look, everything from the household industry to, I mean, this book is, I mean, it's crazy because the direct chapter I'm on in the reread of this book, They're talking about how they would manipulate the economy to keep the people in debt and how there's a science to it. That's right from failure to fighter. The American dream was never alive, but it's now becoming a nightmare. It's now becoming a nightmare. And eventually reality is going to set in. Trump said something very eerie like a month ago. He said, what's going on in the world right now, only the strong survive. Now, he's a billionaire. But he knows that only those with wherewithal, those who are resourceful, are going to survive this. Nobody else is going to survive. It's only going to be a remnant. James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be witnesses against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. That's what's going to happen to the so-called powers that be. Because they should be the ones being charged, not the poor. The poor are getting eradicated. The middle class is getting destroyed while the rich is getting richer. That's what's going on. Let's go.
Like nothing. And it's like, I know God intended for us to do more than just clock in and die. Because at this fucking point, that's all we doing. We barely making enough to survive, and we clocking in and dying. That's all the fuck we doing.
Please.
And you know, that's not what we're supposed to be doing, ladies and gentlemen. We're supposed to be on our own land. We're supposed to be eating fresh vegetables grown straight out of the ground that we planted ourselves. We're supposed to be in communities with like-minded people. We're supposed to have some type of trade and barter system. We're supposed to have our own food banks. We're supposed to be free without being gang stalked, without being harassed. We're supposed to be amongst the like-minded. And when you can see what life is supposed to be, you can't help but to cry loud and spare not. Because what's going on in America is not living. And people are waking up to this every single day. There's people at the work site crashing out. They're losing it. Back in the day, I was doing time with a white guy. Brother was cool, but he was a pyro. Set his workplace on fire. And he said, they fired me, so I fired them. I was just telling my wife about that. He said, look, them people fired me, so I burnt the building down. They fired me, I fired them. That's the point that people are getting into. People are giving up. Telling you.
Understand that this isn't complaining. I just think there's a lot of us that want the things that we were promised. It's not political at all. Please understand that. Right wing, left wing, it's the same bird. I'm talking about.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying. When people are too afraid to face the truth, they start saying, well, you must be a Democrat. You must be a liberal. You must be small-minded. Because it's the same damn thing. You must be under the hypnosis. You must be under the strong delusion.
Please understand that. Right wing, left wing, it's the same bird. I'm talking.
That's right. It's the same bird.
Talking about the people. But somehow corporate America has convinced us all that working 40 plus hours a week, stressing yourself to an early grave, and only making enough money to get by is normal. Making enough money to barely afford rent and groceries drowning in debt.
And eventually they're going to put the squeeze on all of us unless we take that mark of the beast. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not finna take that. I'm going to be somewhere where nobody cares about the mark of the beast because we're going to have our own barter system. I'm going to be somewhere where there's fresh vegetables planted in the ground far as the eye can see. All you got to do is go outside and pick out your cabbage, pick your greens. Somewhere where you got some shelter, somewhere where it's sustainable. Because I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man, it's gonna come a time where we're gonna be like it's Hunger Games. We're just gonna be out there like refugees, vagabonds, so to speak. Somebody said, what's the point of complaining now that the damage has been done? Some of the people that you see complaining about what's happening, they're just waking up to the fact that, oh no, we're really in a heap of trouble. When you sit there and you look at it and you think about your children's children and you look at the direction that America is going, and it hits you all at once like a ton of bricks, like it's hitting a lot of Americans. Once it hits you all at once like a ton of bricks, it's like, man, it's messed up out here. I understand people being frustrated. I really do. But as I said before, I have done my part. Y'all done seen me meeting with dignitaries, getting access to over 400,000 acres. Y'all done seen me at UP Farms with over 110 acres. And y'all have seen me preaching this, making moves, international moves, meeting up with dignitaries, meeting up with vice president. Y'all done seen me do it. So it ain't just complaining over here. And I don't say these things to brag or boast. I say these things to show you that I believe what I say. You got people out there that be teaching and they don't even believe their own damn message. Nah, I read this word. I read the scriptures. I got the information. I went into the documentation. I went into the history. I study every great nation that fell. I study ancient Babylon. I study ancient Rome. I study the fall of the Persian Empire. I studied the fall of the Medes. I study our fall, the fall of ancient Israel. I seen the fall of ancient Egypt. And guess what I see when I look at America? I see all that boiled into one. I've studied the fall of Sodom and Gomorrah. When I look at America, I see one big ass pot of all of that mixed together that was designed to only last a short amount of time because it has inherited all the philosophies from each one of these nations. They've inherited all the philosophies from every nation that was destroyed. There's a series that used to come on. I think it was called Gods of America, Gods of Babylon, or Gods of America. How many of y'all seen that series when it show you all the different gods that they worship in America? And I say this all the time too. I'm always saying, this is not just about joining UP Farms or joining any land initiative that I'm involved with. If you see fit that there'll be a place for you, yes, you're more than welcome. And we will give you information in due time. But we can't say everything online. Or we choose not to say everything online. So we're going to be setting up a different platform where there will be certain buffers put in place. But I say this so you can consider liquidating your assets, linking up with people who have like-mindedness, because that's all we did. You may have people that you rock with. You may have people that you cool with, and y'all might want to go band for band on some land somewhere. Some of your family, y'all might want to start a business together. Unity is very much needed in this day and age, especially in a land where they have programmed us to be divided. Now, there is a time of division. If it's people around you that ain't good for you, people around you that ain't thinking, people around you that ain't moving accordingly, you don't need them around. What purpose do they actually serve? But unity amongst like-minded people is needed. And I don't care what ethnicity you are. This fellow right here that's on your screen, him and I have the same thoughts. So this is beyond race. Although we know that their ancestors have ruined this country. So it's only right that we are the nation that rules, that follows. That's only right. And the Bible prophesies that happening. I know that our people look that like the have-nots, but we're actually God's people. The one they called Jesus Christ was a black man. The book of Revelation said he had hair of wool and skin of burnished bronze. So Christ was one of us. Let me see. Let's go on here.
And then crossing your fingers and praying that nothing goes wrong.
Right.
Trees, drowning in debt, and then crossing your fingers and praying that nothing goes wrong. Like one of the dashboard emojis doesn't come on in your car because I can't afford it. Meanwhile, you got CEOs with their third vacation home that just put in a new infinity pool. The disconnect is so far gone. Money just don't money the way it used to, and the work hard does not guarantee you anything except for burnout. You've convinced us all that
money ain't doing what it used to do. And the scriptures actually spoke on that as well. It sure did. In Revelations 18 and 17, for in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea stood afar off. So you're going to see trade completely obliterated. The money is going to come to naught, meaning it's not going to mean anything. They're going to get it to the point where the currency for the wicked will be a digital asset, a digital currency. The currency for the righteous would be a Holy Spirit currency. The currency for the righteous will be the relationships, the love, the compassion, the empathy, the resources, the trades, the skills, the spiritual authority. That's going to be currency for God's righteous. That's why it tells you to keep your eyes on the kingdom, and all other things will follow. Honesty, integrity, morality, fair judgment. That's currency. But Americans are full of selfishness, entitlement, greed. They become lovers of themselves, prideful, arrogant, boasters, truce breakers, incontinent, fierce. And that's why we're in the condition we are in as a country.
Far gone. Money just don't money the way it used to, and the work hard does not guarantee you anything except for burnout. You've convinced us all that loyalty is a virtue, but it's a leash. Clock in, clock out, barely get by is the norm. And then we all sit here and wonder why we still feel like we're losing. Work hard, stay late, Show up early. Hard work pays off, but turns out it might pay off, but it don't pay the bills. Just somehow funny how that American dream somehow skipped a few steps. Like owning a house, saving for retirement, being able to have a plan. But yet I feel like we're exploited because they understand that for us, failure is not an option. Like, does anybody else feel like they can't afford to get by, but we also can't afford to stop?
That's right. You can't afford to stop, but you can afford to transition. And people be asking me for solutions. Bree, what are solutions? You got to learn how to transition. Here's some tangible things. Because I don't want y'all to believe that I'm some know-it-all, right? But I have some ideas. One idea is making sure whatever job that you're working is also working for you. Meaning, you're using your job to fund your actual passion at some capacity. It got to be at some capacity, even if it's knowledge based. Example would be every company you work for takes something from it, knowledge wise, in order to implement it in your own personal business. That's what a job is for. It's not just to pay the rent, it's to gather the intel. You are there on assignment. You are at that job to gather intel, to apply it to your own life. You're working not just for a paycheck, but you're working for the experience. That's the mindset that you must have on the 9 to 5. That's number one. Number two, do not live above your means. If that means downsizing, if that means you have to have a roommate, whatever the case may be, always be able to save something. Something is better than nothing. And if the money ain't looking right, you don't belong out here in the streets trying to enjoy life. You gotta hunker down and you gotta get focused. Some of the most successful people ain't go out the whole summer. 2 or 3 summers they was in the house or wherever their place of business was. Why? Because they was locked in. Sometimes you got to do that in life. You got to know what season to go without certain things. You got to know what season when you got to really hunker down. I would advise no big spending, no big purchases, unless it's something tangible that you can own. No big spending. I done said this before. If you going up in Saks and you getting designer and Gucci and Fendi and Louis and Prada, that don't make no damn sense anyway, because China already told you can go over there and get it for the low ski. All that stuff is made in China. It don't make too much sense of doing that. Also, land initiatives is important. Land is important. Learning certain practical skills such as gardening. I will also advise that you do not get any vehicles that's like 2024 and up, because a lot of those are electric cars. And when these things start going down, you do not want a vehicle that they can shut down. You don't want that. They showed you in Leave the World Behind when all those stalled vehicles was on the road. You don't want these electric cars. I know it's a social status, a social symbol, or whatever the case is, a status symbol. You don't want that. Also, because people always like, Bree, how do we move through all this? And people, I hope y'all taking notes, because I'm literally giving y'all play-by-plays right now on certain things that you can be doing. You want to stock up on certain things. that can last you at least 2 months' time. At least 2 months' time. And when I say stock up on certain things, I mean non-perishable items, dry foods. I'm talking about flashlights. I'm talking about generators. Absolutely. Getting a landline home phone is a smart idea as well. It doesn't rely on cell towers. And have a point. You have a social circle where if the grid is to get shut down, y'all know where to meet up. Y'all know exactly where to go. You want to have that. And always, if something was to go down, some type of catastrophe, the first 48 hours is the most important to get to that social group, that friend group, to get to those people. These are just little things that you can do. It's really not that difficult. Learning how to read a map is important. Investing in certain things, certain items that you may find useful, and stay away from demonic, evil people. And understand that the Lord don't forsake the righteous. And although time is drawing near, I want you brothers and sisters to keep in mind that you still have time. Yeah, you still have time. Oh, the Most High is going to give his people adequate time to get this right. Sometimes the Most High may hold back judgment where you at just to give you time because he know you one of his. That's how much the Most High love us. He did the same thing with Job, not Job, but he did the same thing with Lot and his family. Most High will sit up there and be like, all right, let me give you this time to get this together. I see what you got going on. And then boom, judge that place. Most High be holding back for his people. He sees what's going on. Let's go.
Bills are a scam. Taxes are a scam. America is a scam. America is scamming American citizens out of all of their money, out of their livelihood, out of their inspirations, just draining people's energy. It's like, it's so hard to live here because if you look at other places, like Italy, for instance, if you've ever been there, you know the drastic difference from the food quality to the people's quality of life. It is just insane. America is so behind.
And you know, a lot of people don't know that. That's why the Bible says a traveled man availeth much wisdom. When you go to other places, you'll realize that America really is not as nice as you believe it is, man. It seems like every city has become a tent city. It seems that the people's spirits in America are downtrodden. All of the cities are dirty. They stink. There's toxic fumes all in the air. You know, the food is just absolute. The food is just absolute trash in America. The food is absolute trash. Even when you go to fast food joints in different countries, it's like 20 times better. You know, when you, I mean, it's just bad. It's bad, y'all. And this is what's leading up to the Depression. This is why self-deletion numbers have skyrocketed. The highest year of self-deletion was 2022. And it hasn't went down much since then. But soon as 2022 hit, self-deletion went through the roof. America's falling. Yeah, potholes everywhere in the roads. You got a couple of cities that look clean. You know, you got some cities in Florida that looks clean. You got some cities in, believe it or not, like there's some places in Oklahoma looks pretty clean. Like just a couple clean looking places, right? But for the most part, even our nation's capital look trash. I mean, everything. Well, all world trade is supposed to take place in New York. That joint not looking too good. Yes, Jessica Octavia says, isn't America a young country? Lots of other countries were established before we were. Yep. And it was prophesied to be the shortest reigning country as well. So all that arrogance you hear Trump talking about ain't gonna be it ain't gonna come to nothing. He don't know what he's talking about. Matter of fact, neither is China. China gonna be destroyed right after America. I know you see this trade war and everybody, I be talking about China being the next superpower, and they will be, but they're going to be destroyed too. Second Esdras 15 and 46. And thou, Asia, there are partakers of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, and they might please and glory thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. So you're going to have Asia, after it pretty much wipes out America economically, they're going to become just like America. And then the Most High is going to destroy them too. That's the prophecy. Matter of fact, speaking on that, because China is pretty much about to wipe America out in every way. You know what I'm saying? But look,
China is fully prepared to fight to the very end because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
When you hear Donald Trump say China wants a deal, it just doesn't know how to go about it. They're proud people. J.D. Vance talks about Chinese peasants. What do you make of their conduct in this respect?
If J.D. Vance thinks that he's dealing with the peasants in China, and I'm proud to be a descendant of the peasants, most of us are descendants of the peasants anyway, that's our tradition. We are farmers before, but now we are one of the leading industrialized economies in the world. So I'm sorry, J.D. Vance doesn't know what he's talking about. And therefore, I don't think there will be China-US dialogue unless the United States changes its attitude towards China. Deal with China as it is, show respect to China, show respect to the Chinese people, and don't try to impose your prejudice and biased view about China or about the rest of the world.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act.
I mean, he told you exactly what it is. He said, look, China was here for 5,000 years before America. We're going to be here after America. And we prepare to go all out. America, we not your little niggas, is what he's saying. They're saying, look, we not finna back down to y'all. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I know Trump is full of, pride, but pride cometh before the fall. Y'all heard that man talking about all the world leaders are calling and kissing his ass. Like, what kind of president, respectable leader would do that and expect positive results out of that? Y'all hear Trump talking about he controls America and the world? That sounds like pride to me. So you don't even respect all these other leaders in these various countries. This is what Trump is saying. And y'all don't think America gonna get what's coming to it. The only country that dropped a nuke in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The only country that dropped a nuke on somebody. Over there harassing Iran for their nuclear weaponry. Eventually, man, these world leaders are going to get tired of the bullying. The only thing keeping this place intact is God's people. Only thing keeping this place intact is the children of Israel who have been placed in captivity here. The ones they couldn't convert into sadism or Satanism. the ones they couldn't convert into their demonic infrastructure, the ones that wouldn't bow, and the Gentiles that follow them along with us, the Gentiles who were fed up too. Those are the only people keeping this thing together.
Everyone thinks that America is like doing good. America is the place to be. No, it's not. Mostly everyone, almost everyone, not everyone, but most of the people here are like zombies. They're slaves to their job, trying to make the American dream work when the American dream is dead. The American dream does not exist anymore because the amount you need to work in order to have the things that you want and have the American dream would be 7 days a week, all day. So guess what? You have no time to do the things that you love. Something needs to change drastically.
Yeah, the only thing that needs to change is we need to begin to think different. We got to understand the uncertainty that's here and begin to plan accordingly. Get yourself, there's another solution. Purchase livable structures. You can get livable structures off Amazon now, y'all. And you should get, and if you got it, get it before the prices, go crazy because of these tariffs. But that's what should be being done right now. They got them at Home Depot, livable structures. Because trying to buy a home in this market, it's just nearly impossible. Y'all got to understand, at one point in time, somebody can be a barber. Your mother can be a hairdresser and own a house in America at one point in time. Now you damn near got to be a neurobrain surgeon, highly acclaimed neurobrain surgeon, just to buy a house. Now I'm talking about just straight up buy it, unless you got people, unless you know some people. This is why I say relationships are important. Because if you know somebody in real estate and you got certain connections, you can get what you need. But it's not easy. It's not easy out here.
Can somebody tell me how you take taxes out my check every 2 weeks, but then come April they still want they still some my old money? So y'all tax me when I get paid, y'all tax me when I spend money, and then y'all tax me again in April, huh? That ain't $25 an hour. That's like $18 an hour. And then y'all be wanting all at one time. But let y'all owe us money. We got to fill out all this paperwork and forms and stuff in order to get money y'all owe us. Then it can take 6 months to a year to get our money back. That's why I'm about to start getting paid under the table. Because this ain't making no sense to me. It ain't making no sense at all.
I mean, actually, if you're getting 25, it's actually less than that. Because they tax you every check, and they're not really giving you that money back. We be hyped. We be hyped when we get back $2 or $3 grand from our job at the end of the year, but they done took out $14,000 to $15,000 out your check in the course of a year. It adds up, and then give you about $2,000-$3,000 of your own money back, and then you got to pay the taxers. Then you got to pay state out of that. It's highway robbery, man. It is highway robbery. Somebody said the year 2020, the year 2003 was the good life. Trucking moves, man. Hey, it was better. I'm trying to think, was Barack Obama in office then? I believe that was under Obama. I could be wrong. I think Obama was not that far back, actually. Yeah, the math definitely ain't mathing. Everybody do me a favor and get the likes up on the video as well. Get the likes up. We are bringing out a lot of revelation, a lot of truth here. In Zephaniah 1:18, it says, watch this. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by fire of his jealousy. I'm telling you. We can't put all our eggs in this basket. Baruch chapter 5, verse 6. For they departed from thee on foot and were led away of their enemies. But God bringeth them unto thee, exalted with glory as children of the kingdom. The Lord made promises to deliver us from our Babylonian captivity. And there's a lot of debates online. There's a lot of debates. They're saying, should we flee our captivity? Should we mobilize? Should we strategize? Or should we wait? Right? That's the great debate within these religious communities. And everybody get the likes up. Get the likes up on the video. Get the likes up. And Christ himself said something that I want to share with y'all. I need to share this on the screen because I use this scripture a lot, but you got to understand that Christ said this. And I want you to tell me what you think. What does this mean to you? What does this mean to you? Right? Because people debate, because it's almost like when you have to do something, when you actually have to do something, that's when there's a debate. When it requires work, when it requires effort, there's a debate. What does that say, ladies and gentlemen? Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass, as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Hold on now. Wait now. Hold on, let me get this right. Did it say wait? No, it must say wait. The scripture must say wait. Wait for the Lord to return. Is that what this say? I don't know about y'all, but I got pretty good reading comprehension. Gather yourselves together, yea. Gather together, O nation not desired. Who is the nation that's not desired? The children of Israel, God's chosen people. We're not desired. You know, they got something now called black exhaustion. I think that's what it's called, black exhaustion they talking about online. That's how much people hate us. You got black folks talking about they got black exhaustion. That's how much we're undesired, because the TV always putting the drunkards and the rebellious of our people. They always touting them around social media, making you believe that's how we all are. So now we all are undesired. This talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, not just blacks. We talking about blacks, Native Americans, Hispanics, Jamaicans, Haitians, Panamanians. Oh, we're talking about all 12 tribes. Cubans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, all of y'all, we all family. We all usins. We're talking about the Mexicans, all of us, we all family. It says, gather yourselves together. Gather together, O nation not desired. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Seek ye the Lord, and ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. Because guess what? If you seeking righteousness, if you are the meek of the earth who will inherit the earth, you already going to gather yourselves together. Come on, man. Are we preaching right now? If you righteous, Why wouldn't you gravitate towards the righteous? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to be amongst your kinfolk and amongst the Gentiles who want to sojourn with us? Why wouldn't you have resources with each other? Why wouldn't you share with each other? Why wouldn't you love each other and promote each other? Why wouldn't you stand with each other? It says, gather yourselves together. The meek going to inherit the earth. Oh, people don't think that's going to come to this. Oh, better believe it's going. Y'all think it's bad now. It's going to come a time. Look, you might as well start practicing righteousness now. Prepare yourself to be around your people because you're going to be there at some point. Prepare yourself to be amongst your people because it's going to get so bad. Listen, the powers that be think they just going to eradicate us. You can't get us to just walk off the planet. That ain't what's going to happen. We're going to end up uniting. All the righteous going to say, man, we don't got nobody but us. Now the wicked, they're going to turn on us. The wicked going to go to the heathen. The wicked going to sell his soul to Satan. The tethers and the tares, they're going to sell out. They're going to give up their natural birthright. They're going to fall into wickedness and strong delusion because they ain't going to have nowhere to go. They're going to go to the mark of the beast. Their future generations will be cursed because they refuse to be righteous. They rather be selfish. They rather be selfish. That's what America's biggest issue is. The people are lovers of themselves. They don't see what's right for the greater good. And with our communities, there's a lot of preeminence where somebody always got to be in charge of people. Of course, there's leadership. I'm a leader. But I respect every man as a man. I respect every man as the headship and the kingship of his family. Babylon gonna fall. Oh man, we gonna see it. Let's see. I see everybody in the chat. We coming up on an hour and a half. What a blessed stream, man. Are y'all enjoying the stream, man? If you are, then hit it with a like button. Somebody says selflessness shall prevail. That's right. Selflessness shall prevail. Those who would do for others. Charity covers the multitude of sins. If you a selfish energy, don't want to give, don't want to share, who the hell gonna share with you when you hurting? I want y'all to think about that. If you're a person who always take, but you never give, you never share with people, who is going to share with you when you down and out? That's real. That's really something to really consider. That's really something to consider. Right. I see y'all. Somebody said you're growing, Nubreed. Thank you. Praises to the Most High. Praises to the Most High. What a blessed stream, man. What a blessed stream. Hey, man, if y'all feeling this chosen one's cap, man, go on nubreedglobaltruth.com and order one of these, as well as check out the merchandise, man. If you want to support my work, support my ministry, I'm not just asking for something. I'm actually delivering great products, clothing that is built to last. We got the Love Note system, so you can get discounts on future events as well as future merchandise. Man, Nubreed Global Truth, the website is booming right now. And go over there, man. Get yourself some merch that can help us with our mission, and it's highly appreciated. Look, hope every last one of y'all have a blessed Sabbath. Shabbat shalom to everybody. Hopefully this video edified you. Got much more material coming. Yeah, go cop that nobility hoodie. Man, I'm going to be ordering myself some of my clothes, some more of my clothes. I'm going to have everything up in here. Everything that I got on the site, y'all going to see me rocking that in the near future. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. Listen, y'all be blessed out there. Stay safe. Shalom. Peace.